jóvenes que solo huyen de una dictadura, de una tiranía asesina comunista.
Buena vida, la economía.
How the economy is going to growing. Maybe it has to close.
Like so many other Venezuelans, she cheered when Donald Trump was elected, now terrified of being deported.
Before Donald Trump became the president, they were praising him. But now, after he became the president, most of them are breaking down in tears.
My sisters are crying because their dad isn't here. So please, let him come home.
My dad bought everything for me.
May he have the compassion. May he have the compassion and let us close. They may give us support. Because truly we are suffering. 6 months of suffering. Right now, I don't know what will become of my life anymore.
Otra vez, raza, échese un grito.
Here, Cubans and other Latinos joined their efforts so that they can protest against Trump regime.
Policy change by the Trump administration. Officials are now telling more than 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who came to the U.S. legally under a sponsorship process created by the Biden administration that they have 30 days to pack their bags, to self-register for self-deportation on a smartphone app created by the government and leave the country voluntarily. If not, the Department of Homeland Security, Vlad, is warning that they will be found, arrested, and deported from the country.
Here, ICE was detaining 20 Latino immigrants who were found working in the factory.
It's taking them.
Why are you taking it?
They're still putting people in there. They said that they're taking them to Conroe, but they're not saying anything else. They're not saying who's in charge, no badge numbers, no names. My dad's in there.
What's up, America? It's your boy Mr. TA, and I'm very excited to be back in yet another episode. So today we're gonna talk about the Miami Cubans who are about to be deported. And you remember back in the days when Trump was running his campaign, and most of those Cubans were singing songs for him, they were cheering for him, they were supporting him, but now they're finding out because most of them are about to be deported back into their country. So I've put together a bunch of videos for you guys to watch. I want you to watch them, and as you are watching, remember to tell me down there in the comment section what you think about this video. And those viewers who have not yet subscribed, you may consider smashing on that subscribe button, and giving this video a like is the best way of supporting me. Let's get into it.
In this country, you don't have to give up your heritage. You don't have to give up your language. You don't have to give up your culture. You can be an American and maintain your identity, unity, without uniformity. And I'm here to say to the President, Mr. President, we need comprehensive immigration reform. Mr. President, A wall is not comprehensive immigration reform.
If you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Is revoking the legal status of more than 500,000 migrants as soon as next month. They were protected under a Biden-era humanitarian program which allowed people to sponsor migrants in their home countries and bring them to the United States. The Department of Homeland Security is now encouraging people to leave on their own or face deportation.
Y'all remember the Cuban MAGA activist Hector Luis Valdez? He has been arrested by ICE for robbery and could be sent to Guantanamo Bay as soon as today. He finds himself facing some serious consequences. This Cuban MAGA activist situation escalates very, very quickly. Reports indicate that he could be sent to Guantanamo Bay as soon as today. Valdez also has been a MAGA activist, been spoke out critics, and now fate hangs in the balance. This happens when you vote against your own interests. This is what he voted for, so he cannot blame nobody but himself. Well. Look at this. He voted for what he wanted, right? Send him back to Cuba. That's what they got to do. I did my research on the ICE page, and yes, he pops out. He's detained in the ICE facility in Florida. That's what happened when you vote against your own interests. He loved Papi Trump. Now get Papi Trump in Guantanamo Bay. That karma that he so richly deserves, you got it, boo. You're going back home.
Where are Miami Cubans at? Stand up for what you supported in 2024. Stand up for what you supported. Oh, you thought he wasn't talking about you, right? He wasn't talking about you. He was talking about the illegals. Even though we tried to tell you, if your skin color was brown and you talk Spanish, he wants you out of the country. You thought, oh, he's not talking about me. We tried to warn you. The mass deportations in U.S. history affect communities of color indiscriminately. How do they know if you're undocumented or not? They're going to harass you. So even revoking legal status for 500,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, how are they going to find out which ones just lost their legal status? Where are they going to find them? They're going to be searching these neighborhoods, as they have been already. You know, when I moved from Michigan to Florida, I was young, naive. I didn't know what had happened in 2000, but I was shocked when I learned that Cubans in Miami were Republicans, because coming from Michigan, I knew who the Republicans were, and they couldn't stand the Cubans. And it's like, you're voting for people who can't stand you. They tolerate you because you stay in Miami and you're not venturing out to Iowa. You're not venturing out into the Midwest to realize that the people you're supporting want you out of their country. FAFO. But stand up and own what you supported. Round of applause. Greatness is here. Enjoy it.
So this is what I'm trying to understand here. What did Cubans who voted for Trump think? Did they think they were special? Did they think that Trump, who had been saying for months, even years, that TPS was not a legal way to come into the country, who thought that everybody from Latin America was munching of the government, who talked about the largest deportation in history, was going to just look the other way when it came to Cubans? Because what? Because they're special? These are the same Cubans that for a while kept talking about Mexicans and Central Americans and South Americans and saying that we were munching of the government for some weird reason, when most immigrants don't munch of the government because they don't even have a social security number. But well, I digress. The point is this. The guy told you straight up what he was going to do. And you thought you were exempt of whatever measure he wanted to take. And you didn't care about the rest of the people that were going to get hurt. And you still don't. And now you're crying on social media saying that they're illegally taking the people that he promised to pardon you if you had like some guys, or say like if you had a college degree, then or you were going to school. What do they think? That the rest of us don't have education, or that the rest of us don't speak multiple languages? We do. And most of us work hard and have an organized life. It's not like Cubans are the exception to everybody else. That's what happens when you feel you're special like this for no valid reason whatsoever. Then when reality sets in, it feels like a brick right across your face. So you're in the find out phase because you guys voted for this and you guys supported this. You guys supported a guy who put the embargo back on your island. And now the people that you have down there are suffering. Now you can't go visit him anymore. And on top of that, you're getting deported over there. So you voted for the guy who set up the embargo to send you back again to that embargo that you escaped from. So don't come crying. I'm Alex. This is my rant, and I'm out.
Now do you understand that it was never about your legal status? It was just about the fact that you were not white. Trump told you that he was going to do this, and you let him use you. Cubans for Trump, Latinos for Trump, dogs for slaughterhouses, and y'all voted for him. And it's just because you had too much disdain for a black woman. You could not stand to see a black woman make it into the position of power that y'all wanted, so you voted for the man who wanted to send you back to your war-torn countries. Because most of these visas, the over 500,000 visas that he's revoking, are visas that Biden gave to people who were fleeing war-torn countries. Biden did so much for the country, provided so much solitude, gave the people a fighting chance, alley-ooped it up to Harris, and you guys said, no, she's black, fuck that shit. Now you have a month to self-deport, not a month to contest, not a month to get your legal status in order. He is giving 500,000 people a month to self-deport or face deportation through ICE. And you know what ICE is now? They take you to Guantanamo Bay. They're going to make you slave labor. And you know who doesn't have rights in America? Non-citizens. I remember vividly arguing with people, letting them know that it did not matter if you got here legally. It does not matter how you are as an immigrant, if you're a model immigrant. If you are not a white American, they were not going to protect you. And we told you all. What? I just saw a video of Cubans on the boat singing Cubans are going to vote for Trump. You see the first list of people on this? Cubans. And they were one of the loudest supporters of Trump. It makes no sense. He said he was going to do this. I need to know, why did y'all vote for him when y'all knew he was going to do this?
So I was reading this article where the Cuban community was outraged because a Cuban citizen was being deported back to Cuba. And I just couldn't help it but to just wonder, now the laws are changing on immigration, and Cubans will be treated just like everybody else that comes to the United States, and once asylum and refugee, whatever you want to call that, has have to go through the entire process just like everybody else. Are those Cubans from Florida, whatever you want to call it, gonna change their mind and their views on immigration now that they will be treated no different, even though those Cuban Americans feel like they're the shit and they feel like no other immigrants should come to the United States illegally, but their grandparents did. My question is, are they gonna change the way they vote in Florida? Because yeah, I'm sure they have family in Cuba, just like we all do back in our homes, Are they going to change their views on immigration, on the immigration laws, and change the way they vote? Or are they just going to continue to vote for this dumbass Marco Rubio and the other guy, Dos Santos, whatever the fuck his name is? Are they going to change the way they vote? Or they're just going to be like, whatever, we here. We got papers. We citizens. We don't give a fuck about them Cubans from Cuba. Anyways, I was just wondering. But yeah, I'm just glad that in some way everybody, if I have to follow the process or I gotta get deported because I'm Mexican, shit. Everybody else to be treated the same. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're all looking for a better life. And I know it's wrong to get deported because most of the people, I'm not going to say it all, but 90% of the people that come to this country illegally or legally are looking for the same thing, looking for a better life. But, you know, it just really, really irritates me that, you know, all these Cubans from Florida, you know, they're like, oh, American citizen, my fit is dry. Deport everybody else. Not close the borders, you know. Anyways.
Let me first take you back into the history. In 1959, during the beginning of Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro became the Prime Minister of Cuba. And after becoming the Prime Minister of Cuba, he established a communist government. And some Cubans, especially wealthier Cubans, were against this communist government. They started fleeing to the US, where they were received by America. Later, in more other years, many Cubans started migrating to the US, looking for a better life, because the life in Cuba was not that good because of communism. Now, after arriving to the US, most of those Cubans were given legal status, and they were given TPS, this temporary protected status, where they could arrive in the US. After spending 2 years in America, they could apply for citizenship. After applying for citizenship, they could start working like other normal Americans. And this made some Cubans, especially those who were staying in Miami, to start thinking that they have become like other normal American citizens, and they started now being against immigration. And that's why many Cubans were supporting Trump. They were even supporting his policies of deporting immigrants. Maybe they thought that they are no longer immigrants, they became Americans like other American citizens. But they didn't know that for Trump, as long as you're not a white American and you are a migrant, he is against you. He doesn't want any immigrant in the US. And that was the mistake those Cubans made. They supported Trump thinking that he will save them, he will support them, but they didn't know that the man they're supporting is the one who's going to deport them. Now, 500,000 Latinos, mostly made of Cubans, Venezuelans, Haitians, and more other Latinos are about to be deported back into their countries. And mind you, those are legal citizens, those are legal immigrants. They're not illegal immigrants. And the funny thing is that they're not going to be directly deported to their countries. They will be taken to Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay, they'll be put into those detention centers where life is very, very harsh. And this is what I always call fucking around and later find out. Most of those Cubans thought that the man they're voting for will deport other immigrants, other African immigrants, other Asian immigrants. But they didn't know that for Trump, as long as you're not an American citizen, he is not your fan. Now, most of those Cubans are now coming out crying. You've seen the video. Most of them are crying, saying that he should have mercy for them. They were not expecting him to do this. Most of them have been earning money. They have been working hard, earning money from America, and then send that money back in Cuba to support their families. Now, what is going to happen? Because most of them are going to be deported back into their countries. How are their families going to survive after being deported? Because imagine if you had like a family of 10 people back in Cuba who were surviving just because you had earned the money in the US, and then you vote for the man who is about to deport you back in your country. How are they going to survive in Cuba? How are they going to survive in Cuba? That's a very, very big question, and that's the effect of effing around. Most of those who effed around are finding out. Imagine 500,000 Latinos are about to be deported back into their countries. And this TPS, this temporary protected status, which were given to them by Biden administration, is about to be revoked. They've been laughing at other immigrants. They've been thinking that other immigrants, those who are called aliens, are the one who are going to be deported. But now, thank God that they are also going to be deported. So most of those Cubans didn't want the black woman to become the president. They didn't want Kamala Harris to become the president of the US because some of them are racist. They are racist against black people. And you will see that some of those Cubans will always try to associate with white America, and they will do whatever possible so that they can be incorporated into the white American community. But they don't know that for white Americans, Cubans are not white. They are brown people, and they will never be incorporated into the white American community. No matter how they can support Trump, no matter how they can support white supremacy ideas, they will never be incorporated into the white American community. And even if you go back in Cuba, you will see that there are some Cubans who are more white, while others are somehow brown, and those brown Cubans are always discriminated. They are not given the same privileges as those white Cubans. And this is what I always carry effing around and find out. You guys, after around, this is your season to find out. Nobody's feeling bad for you because you voted against your own interest. You have voted against your own interest. Now you have to stand and face the consequences of your actions. So that's it for today, guys. If you have enjoyed watching the video, I want you to smash the subscribe button and let me know down there in the comment section what you think about those Miami Cubans. You've seen them singing "I will vote for Donald Trump." Now they're crying, they're breaking down in tears. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And that's Mr. TA. See you next time. Ciao.